Hey everybody, Referral AstartesGaming here, back with design journal number 17 for Chronicles of Elyria. So, before we take a look at the design journal, the Kickstarter for the game went live today. Today is May the 3rd, so for you guys it will have been yesterday. But, as you can see here, we've already got up to $258,000 out of the $900,000 that they're looking for. So in the first day, and I don't think it went live at noon, so it's only been online for about 16 hours. So yeah, they're doing pretty well. They're already almost a third of the way there, and they've still got pretty much their entire Kickstarter campaign to go. So I think that they're gonna make it. They asked for a lot less than I thought they were going to. I mean, $900,000 is not a small amount of money, but considering the scope of this game, I thought they would have needed a little bit more. So, I guess maybe they went low just to make sure that they got funded. That's possible. But I've already got mine in. Let's scroll down a bit, and we'll look at the different options really quickly. So you can pledge $5 to get a contributor thing. And basically, you just get a wallpaper, a newsletter, and a thank you note. If you want to actually get a copy of the game, you need to pledge $25. And let's see. So this is just the early bird version of it, and there's only 3,000 of those slots open. This is the one I pledged, so I'm in on the early bird one. If you miss that, then the lowest you can pledge and still get the game is going to be this one here at $35. So you can see you get a digital download of Chronicles of Elyria with 1 Spark of Life, a forum badge, and any previous rewards. So that wallpaper, the newsletter, the thank you. And then you have the Adventurer pack. Let's scroll up a little bit more so you guys can see that. So this is going to be $40 or more. You get a pack mule mount, an in-game adventurers pack, which includes a cloak, random treasure maps from your region, a backpack, and a collection of trail rations. You also get the in-game title of adventurer, a forum badge and a forum border, and all the previously listed rewards. So it says that note the mount can be killed, and the items are destructible. And then if you pledge $50 or more, you get the patron tier, which is that's the early bird version of the patron tier. So $50 or more. If you miss that, then it's $60 or more. With that, you will get access to the beta, the digital soundtrack, the digital art book, in-game text-based emotes, forum badge, and all the previous rewards. And then down here for the $75 tier, we have the Beastmaster tier, which gives you an extra spark of life, an in-game pet, and it looks like you have 5 different options. They can be lost or killed. I'm curious what those options are. And then a digital strategy guide, an in-game salute, which is going to be exclusive to Kickstarter backers, and you also get the Beastmaster badge. Okay, and then down here we have the Founder tier. This is the early bird version for $90, or if you miss that, then you have the regular one for $100, and that's going to give you Beta 1 access. So it says invite only, it's a closed beta, non-disclosure agreement, and a server wipe, so none of that progress is going to carry over, obviously. You get a horse, which again can be killed or lost. In-game founders chat channel, interesting, so you can have your own conversations. In-game founders pack, which includes a founder's cloak, more detailed maps of your county, founders saddlebags for your horse, in-game founders title, in-game dance, forum border and forum badges, and all of the previously listed rewards, including the pets and all of the Beastmaster stuff. And then we have the Bloodline tier, and apparently there's a lot more tiers than, holy crap. I'm not going to go through them all. Let's just see. So you've got 120 for the Bloodline, You get a thoroughbred horse, and interesting. Help flesh out the world and story with access to 3-month game intro. Servers will not be wiped. That's a big deal. Choose your own custom surname. Okay. So those of you who really care about that, there's your opportunity. You have the merchant one, which gives you a wagon for transportation. Merchant's cloaks, detailed maps of the duchy, special in-game map of a historical location, access to expanded colors for your coat of arms. And then we have the Ursaphant Rider, Alpha 2 access. Interesting, so you can get in before the beta. An Ursaphant mount, which is a bear elephant thing. Ursa being bear, Fant elephant. You know, get it. $25 merchandise credit. Baron and Baroness. Let's see. Choose your own town or stronghold and name it. That's pretty cool. Astronomer. Name a star or constellation. Count and Countess. Start the game as a Count or Countess. Select your county and name it. Okay. Create your noble crest with expanded access to a helm. Artisan. Work with the development team to design a tattoo or hairstyle for your character and then get the exclusive pattern for it on your server. You can share it or not. That's kind of cool. So custom content. Brewmaster. Get access to a special monthly video chat Q&A with the dev team. Upgrade your design experience to a food, drink, or potion. Get the exclusive pattern. You can share it or not. Bunch of influence points. And then Weapon Master, same thing, but with weapons or shields, exclusive weapons or shields. And Celebrity. What's that do? Ooh, launch party, okay. Ring, necklace, or other accessory. Artificer. Let's see. One-of-a-kind relic. Interesting. With story significance. So some kind of legendary item. Duke and Duchess is the same as the Count, but with a duchy. Chimera. Let's see. You get to create a unique creature. That's pretty cool. Get a custom canvas signed concept art of your creature. That's really cool. I mean, I would never pay $5,000 for a game backing, but that is kind of cool that they'll give you like a signed concept art of it. And then King and Queen, which I imagine is probably the highest. Yeah. So for $10,000, you get to start the game as a king or a queen. It looks like 2 people have already pledged that. And you get to design your own crown, design your own crest. Let's see. Create a unique story-driven world event, boss, or castle. Signed concept art of your event, boss, or castle. Let's see. You are a guest. You and a guest are invited to an epic weekend of gaming with Chronicles of Elyria's founder, Jeremy Walsh, and the team. You cover travel expenses. We'll cover lodging. And 10,000 influence. Wow, cool. So those are the different options. I mean, obviously, the ones up here are a lot more realistic. Again, I pledged the $25 one right here because I'm cheap and broke. And so that is the Kickstarter. It looks like it's continuing to go up. It's actually higher now than it was when we started the video. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at the design journal now. We're going to have to speed through things because I wasted a little bit more time there than I intended. Excuse me. Okay, let's switch over. Perfect. So, bolstering and earn to play. Basically, we're going to take a look at the payment model for the game. Obviously, if you're in the Kickstarter, you don't need to worry about your first Spark of Life, but this will still apply to all of the Sparks of Life thereafter. So it's important to note, even if you've already got your copy of the game through that. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Stop it. Damn it, Windows. Okay. Many of the game mechanics in Chronicles of Elyria are designed to appeal to a slightly older audience. The problem with the older audience is they tend to be people who've got careers, children, spouses, responsibilities, or other similarly pesky things that take away their computer time. As a result of their busy lives, Our target audience is often unable to compete with those who have more free time to spend in-game, and are branded as less hardcore or committed than others. To be fair, that isn't just limited to an older audience, but applies to anyone who has limited game time. Label aside, this creates a real dichotomy for us, as we're trying to develop a game that appeals to an audience that feels like they can't get the most out of an MMORPG due to their restricted schedules. Yeah, I mean, I fall into that. I've got school and work every day. Not both every day, but one or the other, or both every day. So I definitely have very limited amounts of time to play stuff like this, especially with my recording schedule on top of that. So with Chronicles of Elyria, we've attempted to address this problem in a couple of different ways. One of the ways is by making sure people with different amounts of free time are still able to play together in an equitable and rewarding way. And we've got this screenshot of some farmer guy. Sorry, this is probably cut off, but I can't center this on my screen. Some shaggy looking farmer guy with some horses, and this guy looks like he's taking a piss into a bucket. And there's some more horses and some cool thatched buildings. I like the architecture in this picture especially because it reminds me a lot of the architecture in Skyrim. You guys know how much I love Skyrim. So this is more the architecture I would be building for my town or village. A lot of heavy stone with some wood supports and the thatched roof. That's what I'm going for. So it says, a peasant and his farm. Not every role in Chronicles of Elyria needs to be risky. So bolstering. What's bolstering? Before we talk about our solution, let's take a moment to look at the problem in a slightly different way. Anytime you play a game solo, it's possible to choose your encounters and set your difficulty based on what you're comfortable with. If you think about your favorite dungeon crawler or hack and slash, you know what I mean. If you just set the difficulty of a dungeon or encounters to suit your particular tolerance, and away you go. You naturally find the right challenge, and so you get the most enjoyment possible from your successes and failures. The problem comes about when you try and play with friends who have more or less free time than you do. Whoever has the freest time is forced to sit passively by and wait for the other to sign on, or inevitably advances more quickly, making it difficult to play together. Going back to the previous example of your favorite dungeon crawler, whenever one person is higher level than the other, one of two things happens. Either the higher level person is forced to play down to the level of their weaker ally, quickly getting bored, or the lower level person is forced to walk around in a higher level area, trying not to get one-shotted while they're carried. Again, getting bored. Regardless of which happens, someone isn't enjoying themselves to the full extent possible from a shared experience. In Chronicles of Elyria, we've addressed this problem through a new mechanic we call bolstering. Bolstering is that feeling you get when hanging out with people who are better than you and challenge you to do your best work. You naturally rise to the occasion and quickly find a place within the circle that allows you to play an active role. In terms of game mechanics, bolstering is what happens anytime you're partied up with members of your in-game family. While bolstered, most of your character attributes, except for stamina, are elevated to a level that is equitable with those in your family with you. It's important to note that not only stamina is raised to the maximum of everyone else in... It's important to note that only stamina is raised to the maximum of everyone else in the family party. The rest of the attributes are brought up to a level that is equitable with everyone else's maximum. Let me give you an example. Please note these values are on a scale of 1 to 10 for reference purposes and don't correspond with actual values. Let's say that a member of your family that plays a lot has the following stats: 10 strength, 9 agility, 8 stamina, 4 will, 5 reason, 6 focus, 7 personality, I think that's personality, 1 intelligence, and 2, is that learning? I forget what that one is. That's a total of 52 attribute points. As you can see from let me scroll down so you guys can see that. As you can see from above, this character is incredibly strong and fast and is very resilient. He's also focused and persuasive. On the other hand, he doesn't have a strong willpower or awareness and is neither a good leader nor particularly intuitive. You don't play as often, but you'd like to play with your friend. Here's your stats before partying with him. So you got 2 strength, 3 agility, 5 stamina, 8 willpower, 7 reasoning, 6 focus, 3 personality, 6 intelligence, and 5, I'm going to say learning because I don't know. That's a total of 45 attribute points. As you can see, you play a more willful character who's also got a higher reason score. You're also much more intuitive and a bit stronger of a leader when your group. Oh, that's leadership, not learning. Duh. Sorry, I should have known that. When you group up with one another, your stamina is automatically raised to his. We take the highest in the party to ensure that the party can travel together without having to stop and take breaks based on the weakest link. This raises your stamina from 5 to 8, increasing your stamina by 3 and raising your total attributes from 45 to 48. Next, we take the attributes of the person with the highest total attributes and we sort them in reverse order, excluding stamina. This gives us 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. After that, we sort your attributes in reverse order from highest to lowest and apply deltas until we get a total maximum attribute score on par with theirs. So math stuff is happening, basically. Yours are will, reason, focus, intuition, persuasion, leadership, agility, and strength. Then we apply the deltas we end up with. So you would now have 2 strength, 3 agility, 5 stamina. I don't think that's right because it was supposed to be 8 or something. 10 willpower, 9 reasoning, 7 focus, 5 personality, 6 intelligence, and 5 leadership. That's a total of 52 attribute points. And let's take a look at this screenshot. So we've got these carvings of like giant turtles. I think they're carvings. And then we have this very rough looking fellow in several furs with his wolf or direwolf companion. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is sort of the terrain I'd like to live in, although I'd like to be a little bit more coastal. But I like this snowy mountains and grasslands. So notice now that you are as willful as he is strong, and you are as reasonable as he is agile. While your stats aren't the same, and you maintain a different distribution, you can rest assured that you're as good at doing what you do as he is at doing what he does. So now you can effectively play together. One thing I should point out is that bolstering doesn't change the number of skills you have available to you. It only makes you better at the skills you do have. Learning new skills is a different mechanic. The other thing I should make sure to highlight is that bolstering only works with in-game family members. It doesn't work with guilds, dynasties, etc. This prevents people from going around bolstering everyone, as it only affects those people that they likely know in real life. It also creates an additional disadvantage for wards, as they have nobody to bolster them. That's kind of a big deal. But if you're playing solo, because I feel like the choice of ward is probably the choice for people who are going to try to solo, so it doesn't really affect you at that point because you probably weren't going to be playing with anybody anyways. So yeah, I mean, that's, I don't know, kind of a wash at that point. So with all of the above said, with each new feature we add, we have to make sure there are checks and balances in place. Unfortunately, while the above mechanic succeeds in adding a significant boon to people who play with real-life friends, regardless of level difference, it also devalues the time spent online, as you can simply have one person play a lot and bolster everyone else. So now we have to create a counter mechanic to encourage people to be online and active as much as possible. Why? Because this is a living, breathing world, and the more people that are online, the more they are able to contribute to and be a part of the ongoing story. When people are online completing tasks, gaining achievements, and participating in the story, they're creating content for others and making the world a richer place to live. So how do you keep bolstering and still encourage people to be online whenever possible? Easy. Story points. So story points, what are these? Story points are a post-launch currency awarded to players for being active and online. Put plainly, story points are awarded for anything that would lead to skill advancement or an achievement that you accomplished while logged on, not your OPC. This is true whether that be through completing tasks and important quests, by playing an active role in a growing economy, or by doing something noteworthy. So by granting story points, it allows us, hopefully you guys can see that, close enough, By granting story points, it allows us to reward players who are contributing to the story without otherwise penalizing those who can't play as much. Another note about story points is that they are awarded in large amount based on a character's reputation or fame. Why? Because completing achievements and being productive in the world is more dangerous when one is a count, duke, king, or legendary champion. Also, well, maybe I should keep reading just in case they do mention it, but the amount of SP received by higher level reputation and fame is multiplied by the same multiplier as spirit loss for deaths. So unknown people get a fixed amount of story points for achievements and completing tasks that advance their skills, while renowned individuals get 8 times the amount of SP, exalted get 16, and legendary characters get a full 32 times the amount of story points. But why would these story points encourage people to be online? Because the currency can be spent in between lifetimes in order to improve their lot in life during the next lifetime. Also, they can lead to free gameplay. So an important note, I wasn't sure if they were going to make it or not. Another reason why I feel like it's justified to give these higher ranking people more story points is because you don't want to have these people who, you got this guy who's king, but he's never online. So can he really rule a kingdom if he's never playing? I feel like there needs to be some incentive to have these higher ranking people involved in the game because they have a much greater impact on it than somebody who is just playing like a lowly farmer. As the farmer, you're only going to really affect yourself unless you're, farming up significant amounts of food for other people. But as the king, everybody under you is going to be affected by anything that you do, and your absence could also affect them as well. And so I think that's also important as to why those people should get a little bit more than somebody who's not known at all. So, earn to play. This is very interesting. It's a well-known fact that time is money. Why? Because we can always spend our time making money. Of course, time we spend making money isn't time we can spend doing other things, and vice versa. This is never more true than when talking about MMORPGs. From the dawn of the MMO until now, players have been rewarded for being online. This has ranged from a character's obvious lack of ability to advance if the player isn't online, all the way to the presence of daily quests which reward people with resources and items for signing in every day. I hate dailies. Clearly, MMOs are designed and targeted toward people that have a lot of free time and potentially less money, and not toward people with less free time and potentially more money. But we've already established that time and money are both resources that can be traded. So what we'd really like is some system of conversion that allowed people to play the game regardless of where they fell on the spectrum of time versus money. That is, people who had a lot of time should have the same opportunity to play as someone who has more money. But what currency could we use to support the conversion? I know, story points. Yay, story points. In Chronicles of Elyria, story points you earn while playing can be traded in between lifetimes in order to buy sparks of life. This is what we call the earn to play model of funding. Now, we're not the first to do this. There's been a couple of other games that have done something similar. EVE Online comes to mind. But as far as we know, we're the first to use a currency that rewards people for participating in the story. And as far as we know, we're the first to do this that doesn't use a subscription model. EVE Online requires a subscription. And while it doesn't necessarily require you to participate in the story, in EVE Online, I've never played EVE Online, but I'm vaguely familiar with it. You earn money in game, and with that, with that in-game money, if you earn enough of it, you can buy like your next month's payment or something. So, while it doesn't necessarily force you to participate, it would be difficult to do that without participating, I feel like. So that's maybe not entirely true. But obviously, like they said, it is using a subscription model. EVE Online does use one. This game is not. So why would we do such a thing? If our business model is to charge people for sparks of life, why would we introduce a way for people to play without buying a spark? The answer is straightforward. Because some people have a lot of time to invest in the game, but not much money. When they spend time in the game trading, completing achievements and interacting with the story, they add content and value to the world and make it a better, more interesting place for others. In short, they're paying us in other ways. We want such people in the world. We're even willing to trade people a spark of life for it. So basically, if you contribute to the game heavily, they're going to reward you by making you pay less for playing it. If you're not going to contribute that often, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. And I think that's cool. I like that they're trying to encourage you to add to this world, which is already pretty rich in its own right. And so hopefully bringing everybody together like this is only going to add to that. We got a screenshot of a king sitting at his desk here, working on his scribe skills maybe, and some kind of assassin climbing through the window with a dagger in his hand. Really cool mask on the assassin too. So some roles are so important to the story that risk and death is nearly inevitable. So earn to play and risk versus reward. Hopefully we can wrap this up pretty quick here. Before we close out, I want to make one final note. One of the challenges we face with our business model and reputation system is that characters in higher levels of fame reputation suffer more spirit loss and thus have less gameplay time than those with less fame. We did that because it adds a necessary element of risk to the more powerful positions, and it also encourages continuity of the story. If a king dies, it should have significant impact on the world. The problem is that it could result in people with a higher disposable income being more willing to take risks and take on positions of power in the game than someone with a lower income. That's one of the reasons we made it so people with higher levels of fame receive more story points for doing similar actions as someone with lower fame. It means... Did I just scroll way too far? No, I didn't. Okay. It means that while a legendary character may die 32 times faster than an unknown character, they also receive story points and a free spark of life 32 times faster. So if a character would normally have lived a full year if not for their fame, then when they die, they'll have accumulated enough story points that they can buy their next spark of life for free. So a king who dies after 3 or 4 months may have to start over with a new life, but it won't cost them any more than the same $30 to $60 per year as everybody else. So that seems kind of fair, because as they said, people with more disposable income could basically like buy their way into these positions, and obviously you can already sort of do that through the Kickstarter, although they're asking quite a bit for it, so I think very few people will do that. But you could basically have these kings hold on to power because they've got a bunch, kings or queens, sorry, because they have a bunch of disposable income, where somebody like me probably couldn't afford to stay king for very long. And so this is going to help kind of balance that out, because if I'm contributing and I'm the king, as long as I play enough, I can basically earn a free spot as king, or at least not have to pay quite so often. So in conclusion, this design journal, we took a look at bolstering and earn to play funding. 2 methods we're using to create equality between players. When all is said and done, we want Chronicles of Elyria to be a game that's accessible to everyone, whether they enjoy playing alone or with friends, whether they play every day or only on weekends, or whether their stage in life finds them with more money or more time. Cool. So I really think these guys are doing an amazing job. They just get it, you know. They get the mini games to keep you interested. They understand metagame really, really well. Even what's beyond metagame? Like, what is this? Like, this is, like, there's metagame and then there's, like, this. They just get it. They get that not everybody can play as much as other people. They get that not everybody can spend as much as other people. And they're really doing their best to try to accommodate everybody and make it fair for everybody. And that's something that not a lot of games even bother to look into. So I like what these guys are doing. They get it. So we'll go ahead and end it here. I wanted to thank you guys. I've been checking in on my account on here, and I've noticed that my influence points have shot up quite a bit. So thank you again for using my my reference code. Again, it helps me in establishing some kind of like AstartesGaming community within the game when it starts. I don't know how exactly we're gonna do that, but all the influence points help, and I think they give me like 50 for every one of you guys that signs up, so that's really great. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and kind of take a break until there's a design journal number 18 again, or if there's some more interesting content to cover. There are some videos that have come out of like PAX East that we might look at. But other than that, I don't think there's really much going on aside from what we looked at today. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to share my videos however you guys see fit, and I will see you guys back here for Design Journal number 18.